So in this video, I'm going to share with you who is not a good fit to join my agency, Duford Insurance Group. Hey everybody, it's David Duford at Duford Insurance Group, where I train and recruit agents nationally to sell things like final expense and Medicare, either face-to-face or over the phone. So I wanted to spend some time with you on camera here describing who is not a good fit for joining my agency. Most likely you're on my channel, you may have recently subscribed, and you're considering possibly joining and selling insurance and maybe looking at what my agency has to offer and probably looking for some indications to see if the Duford Insurance Group is a good fit for you or not. So I wanted to take some time here to kind of tell you who really doesn't make sense to join my agency based off of my experience recruiting more than 2,000 people since 2014. So the first thing is an employee mentality. This is really important. You see, I actually feel like what I do at Duford Insurance Group is train agents to be more of an entrepreneurial person, more of an insurance business than I do an insurance salesperson. So I think if you're going to get into this business, you have to have an entrepreneurial bent. You have to have a higher level of self-motivation. You have to have a higher level of self-discipline. And you have to have a higher level of self-starterism, I guess you could say, in order to get up and running and moving fast, because this isn't a typical corporate environment where you're going to be micromanaged, told what to do. We give you the track to run on to be successful. It's your job to execute on it or not. Nobody's going to be knocking your door down to ask you what you've done on a daily basis. So if you're the type of person who's more entrepreneurial in nature, that wants to run their own business and have the freedom that comes with that, then Duford Insurance Group makes a lot of sense for you. If you're more of that employee mentality, maybe not so much. Another knockout here is if you won't or cannot invest in leads, Duford Insurance Group is not a good fit for you. If you're in a position where you don't have the cash available to invest in leads on a weekly basis, or you just don't believe in investing in leads, my agency is not a good fit. There's no reason to recruit agents without a sales and marketing system to put you in a position of learning how to sell, but equally important, put you in front of people to demonstrate what you've learned how to sell so you can actually make sales and make and derive an income from it. I used to recruit agents without having them have an obligation to buy leads. I don't do that anymore. I'm only interested in talking to people who are serious about this as a business, that want to grow and improve. And in this business and the model we teach, you have to buy leads in order to make that happen. So it's an absolute requirement. Another thing that's not a good fit is someone who has a casual type of involvement with this business. So for example, I'm completely fine recruiting an agent on a part or full-time basis. I started part-time and it worked for me. Full-time is certainly fine too. But what I want is your complete and total devotion. This is a serious business that requires serious commitment. And if you're kind of piddling around and you're just doing business a little here, doing business a little here, there, it's just not a good fit. Don't waste your time. This business is too risky. And the likelihood is that you're going to lose money on a venture like this if you don't take it to the level of seriousness that's required. Number 4 is kind of a thing that irritates me. And part of it is because I had this type of behavior pattern that I think I've, for the most part, eliminated. And it's this idea of limiting perfectionism from actually taking action. We have a saying in my agency that I think is really appropriate, and it's that this business is about ready, fire, aim. In other words, we want to get ready when we want to prep, but there's a point where we got to pull the trigger and fire to see what actually happens. And then based on the outcome, we course correct and improve our aim, if you will, so that the next time we fire, we're going to be that much closer to the mark. This whole concept requires somebody not to be a perfectionist. I remember one gentleman I recruited earlier on in my career, and he didn't start selling until 2 months into the training. He just had to have everything right. He just had everything just so. And it turns out he failed out of the business because he was too scared to just try without perfect knowledge. And the paradox of this business, of anything really in life that you want to be good at, is you're always going to suck to start with, okay? In order to be good at anything, you got to be bad to start with, because you have to go through the process of selling and seeing what happens and learning from your mistakes, and then having this kind of course correction growth period before you actually get good. So having perfectionism is really an obstacle to the good enough. There's a phrase where I think it's being perfect is the obstacle of good, or something like that. And it's very true. So come onto this with the idea that you want to be prepared and you want to sell, But you have to overcome your fear of screwing up, because really there is growth opportunity in the screw ups. And that's really where you do get best. And that means you got to go out there and sell, even if you're not 100% in a position of knowledge of everything. Last but not least, if you cannot operate independently as an independent person, then this business isn't for you, or at least my agency. Duford Insurance Group is unique in the sense that I've been a virtual agency for many a year, since 2014, well before the COVID issues turned a lot of business virtual. I've always operated virtually. And what I've learned and discovered is it's a different type of dynamic when you don't see people on a regular basis. You as an agent have to follow through with your tasks without constant monitoring or micromanagement. And in my agency, you have to have a higher level of self-independence in order to be successful. Because like I said earlier, we're not going to call you and babysit you and yell at you if you're not working. We want to help you, but you've got to be the one who initiates the process. You got to reach out to us to help you, and we're absolutely committed in helping you. But if you're that kind of person still dependent on somebody else, you don't feel comfortable being self-sufficient, don't look at Duford Insurance Group, probably not a good fit. I hope this video helps give you more perspective to see if you're a good fit for my agency or if another agency is a better fit. If you'd like to find more about my business and my agency to see if it is a good fit, there's definitely more information. You can go to the link above or below, and that'll take you to my FAQ page where you can learn more. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I answer them all, and thumbs this video up if you haven't already, please. And thank you so much for watching. Take care.